Hi guys, Alistair Taylor down here at Lytham Golf Academy, and today I'm going to be testing the brand new Ping Blueprint iron. Right then guys, so over the years Ping have made and continue to make some fantastic irons for all different levels of golfers, but probably the one area that maybe they get criticised a little bit about is that the irons can sometimes be a little bit hard, a little bit harsh on feel wise, generally because the irons are cast. Now there was the Ping Answer iron a few years ago, forged, lovely and soft. And the problem was that once the Ping Answer left the range of irons, it was replaced with the iBlade, which was a fantastic looking golf club, but still a little bit on the firm side. But with this new iron, our Ping ticking all the boxes with looks, feel, and performance. So it's very much designed, tour inspired. The lads out on tour have had some great feedback into this. Much more traditional on lofts and look, you know, a genuine muscleback blade, fully forged club head. We've got a little bit of technology in the toe, but let's have a close-up look. I've got 4-iron, 7-iron and pitching wedge. I'm going to hit some real balls on TrackMan, some Titleist Pro V1X. I'm going to give you some feedback on looks and feel, also on performance, and let's see if Ping Blueprint is something that you as a better player might be looking to put in the bag. Right then, so Ping Blueprint iron. I saw images of these probably 6 months ago, obviously when a couple of lads on tour were testing them, and straight away I love the look. But the more I look into these, you know, fully forged head, everything kind of machined out of there, and a tungsten weight in the toe that's just going to move that CG away from the heel and keep it more centered in the club face. So I'm going to hit 5 shots with pitching wedge, 5 with 7-iron, 5 with 4-iron. Talk about kind of who these will appeal to. Maybe you might not necessarily look at a full set of these. You might mix and match a little bit between maybe these, possibly i500s, maybe i210s. But pitching wedge first. So 46 degree loft. Now, almost unheard of to be having a pitching wedge with 46 degrees loft nowadays, but certainly because we're not looking at ultra low CG, this should still turn into a pretty decent flight. Very small head, you know, very thin top line, very compact. So for somebody like me who's grown up playing blades, I absolutely love the way that sits behind the golf ball. You know, and certainly with wedge, not worrying too much about ball striking. And just feels so soft off the club face. And we can see there, decent start. Certainly not expecting these to be super long on distance wise because of the lofts, but definitely doesn't feel like anything else that Ping have got in their range at the moment because of that fully forged head. So let's go again. I love that. Feels good. And I know with having everything being a bit more traditional, I know that on full shots I'm going to be able to control my trajectory a little bit more. We're expecting things like backspin to be very consistent, expecting plenty of spin with these with some decent loft. But not a bomber's club by any means, but definitely for the guy who can find the centre of the club face more consistently. And that just feels awesome. Always hate it though on these videos when I hit a few good shots and I feel like saying maybe I've found my new set of irons. I mean, I'm currently playing i500s and I love the forgiveness with them. Just for me, and this is personally for my eye, a little bit too thick top line and too big a head in the short clubs. So these straight away tick in the boxes for me. So last couple with pitching wedge. Just a little bit pulley. But again, I would expect to see pretty consistent numbers. Yeah, a couple of yards further with pulling that one. And what I really like about a club like this is full shots it's fine, But I think where these are really going to come into their own is when you're around the greens and you've got those little chip shots, something that's nice and thin, lots of feel. I think that's really going to be where you pick up in the short game. So the last one with pitching wedge. Oh, if they're all as good as the wedge, this could be an easy decision. So let's have a quick look at how pitching wedge performed on distance, kind of trajectory. I'm not really expecting pitching wedge to be that difficult to use, but feel-wise and looks, that was absolutely incredible. So if we look at the 5 shots with pitching wedge there, pretty solid strikes, saying that my average carry was 129, you know, so decent spin at just under 10,000. Launching the ball a little bit high, which would be very typical for me. That's costing me a little bit of spin. So I'm a few yards back on what optimal should be, but really good control of height, just great control on distance and consistency, and what you would expect from a muscle back blade. Right then, so that moves us into 7-iron. So 34 degrees loft. Now in these days of 28.5 degree 7-irons and 30 degree 7-irons being commonplace, this is much more what you would expect a blade to be at. Again, really fantastic looking club head, very, very noticeably smaller than a lot of stuff on the market. I mean, I've tested some blades lately and this just stacks up against any of them visually. You know, shorter blade, thinner top line, but looks absolutely spectacular again. So let's hit some shots and see how it performs. So as I'd expect, doesn't feel as quick off the club face as a lot of the modern stuff I test. And at round about just under 160 carry, probably pretty much what I would expect to see with a 34 degree 7-iron. And again, a little bit of wind off the left today, so we'll see as normalized mode kicks in, takes the wind off. So a couple of yards further. And again, just leaving it out to the right. You can see just over 160 at 161.3. Again, really good solid strike. Oh, I love these. These are, yeah, really, really good. And again, what I love once you get into kind of the more traditional lofts is just that ability that kind of front to back on a very, very solid strike is very, very consistent on distances. Obviously what we'd expect to see with these is on a miss hit, we're going to see a little bit more of a drop off, but this is where this model's not going to be aimed at somebody who's not a very good ball striker. And again, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so 165.1. Let's look at the averages for 7-iron, and again look at how optimum this 34 degree 7-iron would be for me. So we can see strikes very, very good there. Now if we look, we're saying optimum carry for me with 7-iron is 164, and I'm carrying it 163. So again, always launching it marginally on the high side for me, which is very much a technique issue with me. Backspin probably a little bit lower than I would hope for with a 7-iron at 34 degrees, but certainly because of that little bit more shallow angle of attack, that's where I tend to lose a bit of spin. And again, height, absolutely fantastic. Now, certainly with the 3 irons I've been sent, the 4, the 7 and the pitching wedge, this is the acid test. So we are talking very short blade, very thin top line. Not 100% sure every golfer will be putting this down next to the ball and genuinely excited about hitting this. This is definitely going to test consistency of ball striking. 23.5 degrees, so still plenty of loft on there. But yeah, definitely noticeably a much more compact head, and I do think for guys who maybe when they get into their longer irons aren't quite as consistent, this might be maybe a step too far for some of the guys. I think that's where other models in the Ping family might 3, 4 iron, even 5 iron for guys might get changed out. So I can see quite a few split sets getting done with these. So 4 iron, 5 shots, and let's see how this works for me. Oh, I know it's not the be all and end all that 4 iron feels soft, but that is gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And 204 carry, that's long for me with this particular loft. But again, it's about the consistency, and what we'll see is if my strike changes, we will see a difference in yardage. Oh, if I hit them all like that though, these might go in the bag straight away. Just a little bit cutty. But again, 205 total. Now, it's a funny one because definitely for me, having grown up with blades, I'm not uncomfortable looking at a small head, and I've generally found that with the bigger headed irons, maybe my ball striking is not always as consistent. I don't know whether any of you guys find that with yourselves. Oh, might have to stop videoing now. I'm not sure that we're going to get 3 better strikes than that. So again, pretty consistent on yardage, and that's what we're looking for. It's not about how good that very, very best one is, but last couple. Oh, might have to get my order in. Now they don't launch, I think, until the 30th of May, but might have to get my name on the list and get these ready for launch day. Could these be changing what I'm using in my bag? As with most videos, yes it could be. Oh, so good, so good. Okay, so last carry, 207. Right then, so let's have a look at the numbers there. 5 really what felt lovely strikes with the 4 iron. And let's see how the Ping Blueprint 4 iron performs. Okay, again, so we can see ball strike in there, absolutely delicious. Won't hit them any better than that, right out the middle. And if we look down the left hand side, we can see shortest one at 199.8, longest at 207. So really good spread front to back. But again, because of the consistency in the strike, that's what we're seeing. So if anything, launching a little bit higher, and just spinning a touch lower, but I'm always happy if my 4 iron can spin round about that 4,000, and actually saying I'm hitting the ball further because of that low spin that it thinks I should be capable. But all in all, absolutely fantastic performance with 4 iron, 7 iron and pitching wedge. Right then guys, so we looked at some numbers there, and obviously I've struck the shots nice and solidly there. So I'm not going to say that these are forgiving clubs by any means, because they're definitely not. As a muscle back iron, they're not going to be a forgiving golf club. So if you're not somebody who strikes the ball consistently, who may be somebody who struggles getting the ball in the air, these probably aren't going to be for you, but that is the importance of getting fitted correctly. But when I'm looking at potentially changing clubs, what am I looking for? Initially, I'm looking for, you know, visually, does it tick the boxes? Absolutely, visually, these are gorgeous golf clubs. Feel-wise, I always love forged product. They're going to come in at a slightly higher price point. I've not got an exact one, but going to be thinking about £219 an iron in the UK, so equivalent around the world. So it's going to be a top-end iron, but anything that's forged and you've got that manufacturing process, you are going to pay that a little bit more. But I think for your good ball striker who's going to have his irons for maybe 5 to 7 years, it's going to be a good investment in their game. But it looks good, it feels good, and it performs. So you can't really ask any more from the club. You've obviously then got to do your end of the bargain. For me today, I've done that great, and I really, really love those. For me, I carry kind of 3-iron down in my set. Would I want to put a 3-iron in these in the bag? Probably not. I might stick into I-500 for 3-iron, but certainly for me would be looking at maybe putting 4-iron to pitching wedge in the bag, because my trajectory was still good with 4-iron, and I think that ability to control trajectory with a head like this is a real added bonus. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it. Comment below, get back to as many people as I can. If you've enjoyed the video and you don't currently, click the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, make sure you get my videos as soon as they drop. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.